This month, Hempfield Happenings has been brought to Bethlehem, PA. Over 250 years ago, the Moravian Church bought land off the Lehigh River. Since then, stories of freedom in this so-called Christmas city have been created. Hempfield Happenings has the opportunity to hear these voices and stories. Everything has a price, even freedom. Liv Anderson visited the many memorials around Bethlehem to find out more about those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Bethlehem is the home of many war memorials which demonstrate what it took to achieve their freedom. Behind me is the tomb of the unknown soldier, where one of over 500 Revolutionary War soldiers were buried. There are many veterans within Bethlehem. I had the chance to meet with one who shares the importance of appreciating all that they've done for the country.
I'm a veteran, so I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. When I wear my veteran's hat, people always come up to me and say thank you for your service, and which is really nice that all of a sudden people are starting to realize what the veterans, which I think is a good thing, have done for their country. You know, when you think of even those veterans, even before me, that were in the Second World War or whatever, I think really that's why we have our freedom today, and you are able to talk here today because of what the veterans did. And a lot of people may not realize that, what they've just taken it for granted, which is, I mean, how many young 19-year-old, 18-year-olds went over to Germany or wherever, it never came home. But I think if they realize, because of them, we're here today.
Ronald Reed, a former history teacher and current city tour guide, talked about Bethlehem's history with U.S. wars.
Well, Bethlehem was founded on Christmas Eve in 1741. That's how they eventually decided to call themselves the Christmas City. It was founded by Moravians who came from Germany, and they settled here to become missionaries, both for the local Native American population, the Lenape tribe, and also for the large German population. During the Revolutionary War, they served as a hospital center. The Moravians were pacifists, so they didn't participate directly in the war. A large number of revolutionary soldiers died here. There's a large mass revolutionary grave site near this location.
Whether past or present, Bethlehem honors all those who made the ultimate sacrifice for others' freedom. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Liv Anderson.
Bethlehem, PA is filled with rich history. Sullivan Fogel went to see how the people of Bethlehem exercise their freedom to access this information.
Between its ties to the beginnings of America and its unique industrial history, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania has a great amount of stories to tell. Those stories are told through museums such as this one, which give the freedom of knowledge to the people of the city. The museums of Bethlehem provide people with the freedom to access a wide range of history on both the local and national levels. The National Museum of Industrial History is one such museum, which explains Bethlehem's role in the nation's industrial era, as Curator of Collections Andrea Zaya explains.
The National Museum of Industrial History, we opened in 2016 in the summer, and we showcase a number of different collections. We have a very sizable Smithsonian artifact collection on display pertaining to the 1876 Centennial Exposition. We also have an iron and steel gallery. As you can see from our surroundings, we are right in the middle of the former Bethlehem plant site of the Bethlehem Steel Corporation. So we do see ourselves as the historical anchor of this campus. We also have a silk gallery, so textiles were a huge industry in this region as well. I mentioned before, we do see ourselves as the historical anchor. We can help interpret what is going or what was going on this site, and there's a lot. There's a lot of history here, memory spaces. It means a lot to the cultural identity, to the community identity of Bethlehem and the surrounding region. And there are a lot of stories from within this site, from the workers and innovation that they had to, solve a problem on a daily basis. We talked to a lot of steelworkers who tell us that it was a challenging job and it was unique. They loved the job, the work, because it was always about finding a solution to a challenge on that every single day. So the National Museum of Industrial History does that, but we also help to inspire future generations, because it's this idea of being able to pass on that knowledge and to the next generation, that you too can be an innovator and you too can find solutions to big problems and change the world.
The other museum, the Khmer Museum of Decorative Arts, allows residents to enjoy their freedom to learn about all kinds of history through collectibles, antiques, and other day-to-day objects. Volunteer Dean Kochik has given tours here for months and explains the appeal of the museum.
Annie Kemmerer was interested in the decorative arts, antiques. She had small collections and like that, and she wanted to make sure that going forward that would be preserved and people can come and see that. And well, I think history is important. I think you have to have a good feeling for where you've been, and that'll dictate where you're going. I think you build on history, you learn from history, you use history as a guide, because history is a good predictor of future things. What happened X number of weeks ago or X number of months or years ago, there's a good possibility that that could happen again in the future. So when you go to a museum, it's a time capsule. It's moments in time that are captured that you can see for all eternity going forward.
For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Sullivan Fogel.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Hempfield Happenings. We hope you enjoyed this episode and got to learn more about the town of Bethlehem. We'll see you next month on Hempfield Happenings.
Hello and welcome to the February episode of Hempfield Happenings, our 30-minute news magazine show created by the students of Hempfield for our community. On January 13th, 12 students traveled to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania to create the mini news program you just watched in order to help us prepare for our national competition taking place this year in Long Beach, California. Using the prompt Freedom, they only had 8 hours to research, write, film, and produce the segment you just saw. While the older students created the news program, the younger students completed a similar assignment where they had to create a short film based on the same prompt, all while making a broken flashlight the centerpiece of the action. Here is what they produced.
What are we gonna do now?
I don't know.
I mean, we could go to the basement.
Sure, why not?
Watch your step, Lindsay.
What's even down here anyways?
I know, bathrooms, the recording studio, all the dark corners, the good stuff.
I wonder what's back here.
I don't know. Let me get out my flashlight. Ugh, crap, there's no batteries. I just put some in. I don't...
That's so weird. Speaking of which, where's Thomas at? Let's see. Maybe he's in this recording studio. Goodness, it's dark in here. Where's the light switch at? There it is. Oh, wow. Oh, there he is.
Sleeping.
Sorry guys, I'm not lazy. I'm just on energy saving mode, just like your flashlight.
How do you know about that?
Guys, I'm bored. Wanna hang outside?
Sure, I guess so.
Sure, you guys can head out, but I gotta pee first.
Alright, so, yeah, I found this $20 bill about a week ago, you know.
I lost mine.
I had no idea.
I know it's you who took mine.
Me?
You must have also stolen the batteries out of the flashlight.
No, I didn't steal the batteries. Like, what are you talking about? That isn't, I didn't take your, I didn't steal the batteries.
You're the only one who could have done it.
What would lead you to think that?
You know what? I'm so done with you. I want you to just go away.
Lindsay, what have you just done?
What are we gonna do about this?
I don't know. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I could go to jail.
It's okay, we're in this together. We're in this together, Lindsay.
Why don't we just put his body under a bench over there?
If there's nothing else we can do.
Right, I'll grab his arms, you grab his legs.
Oh my goodness, he's heavy. Jeepers.
We might just have to roll him. Let's just finish this.
Yeah. It's good enough.
We need to get out of here. Man, I'm not gonna have any freedom if I'm in jail.
It's okay, Lindsay. We're not gonna go to jail. We already hid the body. It's fine. They're not gonna catch us, okay?
Guys, what happened? I was arguing with Lindsay and then I just woke up under a bench.
Oh my gosh, thank God.
Now you can have your freedom.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed their film. Earlier this year, in November, the Comtech 5 and 6 class participated in the STN Fall Challenge. This is similar to the contest preparation we did in Bethlehem. However, this time we had 5 days to produce one news feature. Here's what the news team came up with. Internet access is essential to several aspects of our modern lives, whether it be completing your homework, keeping in contact with your friends and family, or participating in a conference call for work. Here in Lancaster, this digital divide has proven itself an obstacle for local citizens, as its lack of connection has become more expensive than the actual cost of even having it. A voting member for the Pennsylvania Development Authority is Dr. Kyle Kopko.
Broadband is essentially high-speed internet. And for the purposes of the Broadband Authority, we're most interested as a first matter of identifying those communities that don't have access to 25.3 speeds. That means 25 megabits per second download speeds, 3 megabits per second upload speeds. But the ultimate goal is to ensure that as many people in the Commonwealth have 120 speed thresholds. But the goal right now, at least in the near future, is to try to get as many people at that 120 threshold as we can. Rates of internet access in rural communities, generally speaking, is lower compared to their counterparts in urban areas. But there are several 100,000 households throughout Pennsylvania that don't even have internet. So there were a wide number of accounts that students were going to, say, a McDonald's parking lot to get free Wi-Fi and trying to use laptops or Chromebooks or a tablet to access learning content. So determining why households don't have internet, that's something that we're really going to try to determine through this mapping process. I think that we're now at a state where everything that we do as a society is largely dependent upon access to the internet. It's really difficult to envision some aspect of life that isn't touched by the internet in some way. There's no silver bullet that's going to address all of the digital divide. We have to look at building out the infrastructure, making sure that it's affordable for consumers, that they have devices and they know how to use those devices. If any of those fail, we're not going to fully address the digital divide.
As things requiring internet access have made their way into our daily lives, the closing of this digital divide would prevent the disadvantages in everyday tasks for certain households. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Lizzie Pegg.
We have 2 middle schools that feed into Hempfield High School, and part of that are 2 extracurricular clubs that are part of our communications technology program. Mrs. Deemer runs WCMS, the TV studio at Centerville Middle School, and Mr. Woolman runs the TV studio at Landisville Middle School, WLMS. At both schools, 7th graders can audition in the spring to be part of the main news crew throughout their 8th grade year. This past semester in the fall, we tried out a new program where the students in Comtech 5 and 6 in our upper classes provided a unique opportunity to the WCMS and WLMS students to produce a feature for Hempfield Happenings. The intent of the feature was to include the voices of the student body concerning events at each of their respective schools. Vince Wizotsky is the president of our video production club, and he was one of the students that was involved with this new program. So who are the people that were involved with your group?
So we had Aliza Vermani and Piper Miller. Both of their parents work within the district, so we were lucky to have them on our crew, and they gave us some really good packages and showed really good work to us.
Yeah, I like to joke around here. That would be the third Miller that we have.
That's right.
In Hempfield Happenings over the past year or so. So what was the goal that you had as a student leading these middle school students in creating this feature?
Right. So one of the goals I had was to really keep them occupied on one thing and keep the whole process moving while giving them that independence to figure it out on themselves. We didn't really give them too much information or like knowledge on how to do it, which was kind of intentional. So they learned how to operate with themselves as a group.
And it shows their creativity can come out a little bit easier. And the middle school students haven't had the exposure to camera work. They haven't done a whole lot of editing, at least not the same type of editing that you do up here in the high school. So what do you think was one of the biggest things they learned as they went through their project?
Right, so I think the middle schoolers really learned communication. That's aside from technology, but that's a skill that they learn that's really important within this field and making news. They were at a disadvantage not having access to equipment and editing software like we do, but they overcame that. They used iPhones that I think today some iPhones are more powerful than some cameras out there. So they were smart by using those and going with the flow.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've seen a lot more with iPads and iPhones. So you're up here at the high school. The middle school's on a different schedule. They're on the other side of the district from us. So were you able to communicate within your group?
So we were given groups within Schoology where we can communicate with one another. There's me and Josiah Pletcher. We were able to communicate with them and send them emails through that. And it was kind of like a little group chat. We got details and times where we can meet up. And really, once we had our first meeting together, I was able to get their personal information and safely communicate with them back and forth in a responsible way.
Okay. And what kind of topic did they work on?
So they worked on the Lansville Middle School holiday concert with the chorus, orchestra, band, and they were able to actually interview a WLMS member who was in that ensemble. So that was pretty neat that they were using the people around them to help create a feature.
Yeah, and that took place in mid-December before winter break. So overall, as their advisor and leader, how do you think they did?
I think they did a phenomenal job. Off the charts for where we think middle schoolers should be, but they really acted as young adults in making this, using their time responsibly and using their creativity responsibly.
Well, we want to thank all the middle schoolers who took part in this new experience that we had, and I thought they did an excellent job. So we're going to take a look at two features right now. We'll see the holiday feature that Vince's group created, and we'll also watch the feature on the winter coat drive.
Hello, my name is Piper Miller and this is Elisa Romani, and we are going to be talking about the Winter Chorus Concert. It took place at LMS Stage on December 8th, 2022.
Well, I've been playing piano for a pretty long time, so I haven't really accompanied a chorus in those years. So Miss Stewart came up and asked me earlier in the year, and I absolutely accepted her invitation.
One interesting thing about this concert was that it was a combination of many different Christmas songs put together. If the audience could guess the correct amount of songs, they would have a chance to win a tropical smoothie gift card.
Drop that program in the red basket at the entrance, and Miss Stewart will draw 3 students' names to receive a gift card from Tropical Smoothie.
What is your favorite thing about being a piano player? Well, my favorite thing is everybody when I'm there, I get a ton of respect from the people who are there because they appreciate me, and that because last year there was nobody to play piano. So now that there is this year, and they have a little more unity and something to follow off of while they're singing, I think it's a lot better for them. So
that is all we have, and thank you for joining us on Hempfield Happening.
Yeah, there we go. So then you just kind of... Warm clothings are essential in the cold winter.
At CMS, they had a warm clothing drive to help people in need in the community. Addison Horner is the treasurer of Student Council.
The Blanket and Warm Clothing Drive is being run by Student Council. The mission is to help people on the streets and shelters get more warm clothing and blankets so they can stay warm throughout this cold winter season. The drive is occurring here at school, and students can bring in their blankets and warm clothes here at the school. I think this is going to be very helpful to people because it just is, well, very nice to do for all people. Students are bringing in their extra clothes and blankets, and then they can just bring them to Miss Axe's room upstairs.
Mrs. Axe is the Student Council advisor.
Student Council is running it this year, and we have done it in the past as well. We want to help people in the community who need some extra supplies and assistance over the holiday season, so we thought blankets and some warm clothes would be nice. They can bring them to my room during flex or homeroom, just to help people in our local community who are in need this holiday season.
From WCMS, I'm Luke Over, reporting for Hempfield Happenings.
Earlier in this episode, we watched the news feature created during the Student Television Network's Fall Challenge. For the first time in its history, STN created a music video competition, and 4 of our students participated in this challenge. I'm with Morgan Wilfong, one of the participants in the group. So Morgan, who was part of your group?
So it was me, Josiah Pletcher, Vince Wazotsky, and Savannah Miller.
And what was the process like in creating the music video, and what was kind of the idea behind it?
So basically, we got a song, and then we had to work with that song to find a storyline and kind of work with that storyline in creating a video with it. So like obviously the music videos you see with like artists and stuff like that, that's kind of what we had to do, and we had to find the story ourselves with the music that they gave us.
So that leads me to this question about the music that they gave you. So what was it like when you first were listening to that music, and what was that process like as you were trying to figure out what the story was going to be?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, the music was not the greatest. It wasn't something that we would listen to like in like our own like time. And so it was a little bit difficult to come up with a story. It was also one that didn't really show a whole storyline itself. So it was a little difficult to come up with a story, but eventually we thought of some different ways we could take the song, and eventually worked with it. We still don't love the song to this day, but we worked with what we got, so.
What was your favorite part of the whole process?
I liked the part that I played. I love being like on camera, so being like the main person of it was really cool, and it's just fun to do something else like on camera other than like, you know, the morning announcements and stuff. It's cool to do something else, so I enjoyed doing that.
We're eventually going to watch it, so where were some of the locations that you filmed in the video?
Yeah, so we filmed mainly like at my house and like around my house. So we were in like my room to show like the morning and like getting ready. And then we also used the behind my house because I have woods behind my house, and that just, I think that part was really cool because I think we got a lot of cool shots in like the woods and stuff like that, and it was like in like the fall time, and so I think that was a really cool place that we filmed too.
All right, so now the big question, how'd you do?
Well, we did pretty good. We got an honorable mention, which was really cool, and I was really excited about that. I'm really proud of us to get an honorable mention.
Yeah, an honorable mention is, was it top 5, I think, in the country for the people who entered that contest, and it was good for the first run through the music video. So thank you, Morgan, for everything that you did. And thank you for watching this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings, our student-produced news magazine program for the Hempfield community. We're excited to be celebrating our 25th year of shows, and the students will return next month with our first semester and first episode in the spring semester. Until then, stay warm, and we're going to leave you with that award-winning music video the students made for the Fall Challenge.
Drowning in the lost emotion, crying like some kind of ocean from my eyes. But I got up out of the hopeless. Yeah, I got over you last night. Wasn't it easy to believe I would be broken forever? Thought I would never see the light. You didn't need me, so I went looking for somebody better. Thought I'd be sadder, but I'm go down the drain. My heartbreak go down the drain. My heartbreak go down the drain. I finally learned how to let go. I don't even feel the echo of your touch. I've never been so in control. Only love I need is mine. But wasn't it easy to believe I would be broken forever? Thought I would never see the light. You didn't need me, so I went looking for somebody better. Thought I'd be sadder, but I'm fine. Washing my tears away, I watch my heartbreak go down the drain. 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 Wasn't it easy to believe that I would miss you forever? Always be tethered to your love. Grass isn't greener on your side. You're wishing we were together, but I'm not. Just watch